Do you know someone who leaves you feeling completely exhausted after every interaction? Just last week, I met with a colleague who spent an hour detailing every office grievance, and I couldn't focus for the rest of the day. You're not alone in this experience. According to research from the Journal of Organizational Behavior, negative social interactions can reduce your productivity by up to 30%. These energy-draining conversations don't just steal your time. They hijack your mental focus and emotional well-being. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to protect your energy and maintain your productivity, even when dealing with the most draining people in your life. The hidden productivity drain. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to hijack your entire day without you even realizing it? You know that coworker who stops by your desk for what should be a quick chat, but 30 minutes later, you're still listening to their problems? Or maybe it's that friend who texts you with one drama after another, and suddenly your productive morning has vanished. These people are energy vampires. They're real productivity threats that most of us completely overlook. What makes them so dangerous is that they don't announce themselves. There's no warning sign that says, "Caution, this conversation will ruin your afternoon." Instead, these interactions feel normal in the moment, but leave you strangely drained afterward. These interactions fly under our radar, like hidden leaks, draining your energy tank. You might not connect your afternoon slump with that lunch conversation where your colleague complained about their boss for 45 minutes. But research confirms this connection. A study from the University of California found that the average worker loses 2 to 3 hours of productive time after dealing with a negative interaction. A 15-minute conversation with a toxic person can wreck your entire afternoon. Most of us have no idea this is happening. Our brains are wired to process negative social experiences more deeply than positive ones. This goes back to our evolution. Noticing and remembering threats was more important for survival than remembering positive things. When someone dumps their negativity on you, your brain treats it like an emotional threat, triggering stress responses that linger after the conversation ends. This productivity drain compounds over time. Losing 2 hours of good work time after a draining interaction might not seem significant for a single day, but multiply that by several times a week, every week of the year. We're talking about hundreds of hours of lost productivity. That's why so many people feel stuck. Energy vampires create an invisible drag on their progress. Understanding the difference between normal, difficult conversations and truly toxic interactions is crucial. Not every challenging discussion is harmful. Sometimes we need to have tough talks about problems or conflicts. That's part of life and work. The difference is how you feel afterward. A healthy, difficult conversation might be uncomfortable in the moment, but afterward you feel clearer, or like you've resolved something. Toxic interactions leave you feeling foggy, tired, and unable to focus. You can measure the impact these relationships have on your work. After toxic interactions, your error rates increase. Your decision quality decreases. Your creative thinking diminishes. Research shows your memory suffers too. One study found that participants exposed to negative social interactions scored 20% lower on cognitive tests compared to those who had neutral or positive interactions. Energy vampires are individuals who consistently deplete your mental and emotional resources through negative interactions. They're not always bad people with bad intentions. Sometimes they don't realize what they're doing, but the effect remains the same, a measurable drop in your focus and output. Energy vampires come in different forms. Some are obvious, like the person who's always complaining or creating drama. Others are harder to spot, like the friend who seems supportive but somehow always makes you feel bad about yourself. Or the coworker who's friendly but constantly interrupts your work with non-urgent questions. Think about someone in your life who leaves you feeling tired after interactions. Notice I didn't say someone you dislike. That's the tricky part. Many energy vampires are people we actually like or care about. The drain happens regardless of how we feel about them personally. Most productivity advice focuses on habits, routines, and time management, but they miss this huge factor, the people around you. You can have the best productivity system in the world, But if you're surrounded by energy vampires, you'll still struggle to accomplish what matters. What's weird is that most of us plan our days around tasks and meetings, but we don't plan for these energy drains. We block time for projects, but not for recovery after difficult interactions. We try to power through the mental fog instead of recognizing what caused it. Workplace psychology research shows that positive connections can boost productivity by up to 25%, while negative interactions can reduce it by even more. The quality of your relationships at work matters tremendously. One toxic relationship can outweigh several positive ones. The long-term effects are serious. Regular interactions with energy vampires keep your stress hormones elevated. This leads to burnout, decreased job satisfaction, and health problems. Studies show that ongoing exposure to negative social interactions increases your risk of depression and anxiety. The good news is that once you recognize what's happening, you can protect yourself. You don't have to cut everyone out of your life. Instead, you need specific strategies to manage these interactions so they don't wreck your productivity. You probably already have some natural defenses. Maybe you've noticed yourself avoiding certain people or delaying responses to their messages. That's your brain trying to protect your energy. But we can do better than avoidance. We need actual strategies. The first step is awareness. Start noticing how different people affect your energy and productivity. Track how you feel after interactions and how much good work you accomplish afterward. This awareness alone can be eye-opening. But how do you know if someone is actually toxic or just having a bad day? Everyone has tough times, and we all need support sometimes. The key difference is in the patterns. Does this person consistently leave you feeling drained? Do they take without giving? Do they turn every conversation into a negative spiral? Or is this just a temporary situation where they need extra support? Let's look at the science to understand what's really happening in your brain when you interact with energy vampires. Because once you understand the biological mechanisms, you'll see why these interactions hit you so hard, and what you can do to protect yourself. The science of energy. Vampires. What if I told you that your brain chemistry actually changes when you're around certain people? I'm not talking about a figure of speech here, I mean your actual brain chemistry shifts at a biological level. This isn't just about bad vibes or feeling annoyed. It's about measurable changes in your body that directly impact how well your brain works. Think about the last time you spent an hour with someone super negative. Remember that foggy feeling afterward? That mental fatigue wasn't in your imagination. Your brain was functioning differently because of that interaction. Here's what's happening. When you interact with an energy vampire, your body activates its stress response system. This is the same system that evolved to help us deal with physical threats, like running from predators. The problem is, your body can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a toxic coworker who constantly complains. Both trigger the same biological cascade. During these negative interactions, your adrenal glands release stress hormones, mainly cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones help when you need to escape danger, but they're terrible for productive work. Your cortisol levels can spike within minutes of a negative interaction and stay elevated for hours afterward. What's fascinating is how differently our bodies respond to positive versus negative social encounters. When you're with someone supportive, your brain produces oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oxytocin reduces stress and improves cognitive function. You think better around positive people. Your brain also releases dopamine, which helps with motivation and focus. But with negative people, those elevated cortisol levels directly interfere with the parts of your brain you need for productive work. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for complex thinking, problem-solving, and decision-making, basically goes offline when cortisol levels stay high. It's like having your computer's processing power suddenly diverted to run an outdated security system, leaving little capacity for your actual work. This explains why you make worse decisions after dealing with difficult people. A University of California study examined decision quality after stressful social interactions. They found participants made 20 to 30% more errors on cognitive tests after negative encounters compared to positive ones. Think about that meeting with your critical colleague last week. The mistakes you made afterward weren't coincidental. Memory takes a hit too. Researchers at Stanford found that chronic exposure to stress hormones can damage the hippocampus, the brain region crucial for forming new memories. Ever notice how you forget important details after a draining interaction? That's your hippocampus struggling under stress. But the impact goes beyond your own brain chemistry. Have you heard of emotional contagion? This scientific term describes how we catch other people's emotions, almost like a cold. Multiple studies show that humans automatically mimic the emotional expressions, posture, and vocal patterns of people we're interacting with. This happens completely unconsciously. A study published in the journal Nature demonstrated how negative emotions spread through social networks. Researchers found that spending time with someone in a negative emotional state increases your chance of becoming negative by 55%. That's why one complainer can bring down an entire office. Emotions are literally contagious. These effects happen because of specialized brain cells called mirror neurons. These neurons fire both when we perform an action and when we watch someone else perform that action. They also activate in response to emotions. When you see someone angry or stressed, your mirror neurons fire as if you were experiencing that emotion yourself. Your brain mirrors their emotional state. It's like having an emotional Wi-Fi connection that you can't turn off. Neuroimaging studies using fMRI scans show fascinating patterns. When subjects viewed images of people expressing negative emotions, their own brain activity changed to match. The amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, becomes more active, while activity in the prefrontal cortex decreases. Your body sends clear signals when you're dealing with an energy vampire. Physical symptoms include tension in your shoulders and neck, shallow breathing, and a feeling of heaviness in your chest. Mental symptoms are just as telling. You might notice your thoughts becoming scattered or negative. You might find yourself agreeing with things you don't actually believe, just to end the conversation. Or you might experience cognitive depletion, that feeling where your brain just doesn't want to think anymore. The most reliable indicator is how you feel after the interaction ends. Do you feel relieved they're gone? Do you need to recover? These are signs that you've encountered an energy vampire. Research from workplace psychology shows that after interactions with highly negative people, it takes an average of 3 to 4 hours for cortisol levels to return to baseline. That's half your workday lost because of one bad interaction. The most surprising part is that much of this happens beneath your awareness. You don't need to consciously dislike someone to be affected by them. Even people you care about can trigger these responses if their behavior patterns are consistently negative. This biological understanding gives us an important insight. Protecting yourself from energy vampires isn't selfish. It's recognizing a genuine threat to your cognitive function and productivity. Just as you wouldn't feel guilty about moving away from secondhand smoke, you shouldn't feel guilty about protecting your mental environment. Once you understand these mechanisms, you can intervene by recognizing early physical signs of stress responses, developing techniques to buffer the neurological impact, and making conscious choices about who you spend time with. But what are the specific types of people causing this reaction? Not all difficult people affect us the same way, and understanding the different types of energy vampires can help you develop targeted strategies for dealing with each one. The 5 types of energy vampires. Could the person draining your productivity be hiding in plain sight as your work friend? Sometimes the biggest energy vampires in our lives aren't obvious enemies, but people we actually like and interact with regularly. That's what makes them so dangerous. They fly under our radar. Let me walk you through the 5 most common types of energy vampires you probably encounter every day. These people rarely come across as obviously toxic. Their draining behaviors often disguise themselves as friendship, concern, or helpfulness. You might not realize how much they're affecting your productivity until you step back and notice patterns. The first type is the chronic complainer. We all know someone like this. No matter what's happening, they find something wrong with it. Beautiful weather? It won't last. Got a promotion? Now you'll have more stress. New restaurant? The service will probably be terrible. Complainers exhaust you through their resolute negativity and complete lack of interest in solutions. They don't want to fix problems. They want to keep complaining about them. Imagine sitting down for lunch with a colleague who spends the entire hour listing everything wrong with their project, shooting down every helpful suggestion with, "That won't work because..." Your turkey sandwich sits half-eaten as your energy evaporates. The truly insidious part about complainers is how they normalize negativity. Spend enough time with them, and you start seeing problems everywhere too. Their mindset spreads like a virus, and before you know it, you're complaining right alongside them. Moving on to our second archetype, the drama magnet. These people transform everyday situations into major crises that urgently require your attention. Like a tornado touching down in calm weather, they create chaos where none existed. A minor disagreement becomes, "Everyone is against me." A small change in plans becomes a complete disaster requiring immediate handling. Drama magnets thrive on false emergencies. They send texts saying, "Call me right away," for issues that definitely could have waited. Every story they tell features heightened emotions, conflicts, and dire stakes. After a morning call with a drama magnet who turned a simple deadline adjustment into a department-wide catastrophe, you might find yourself too emotionally drained to focus on your actual priorities. The third type operates more subtly, the emotional manipulator. Picture this. You're racing to complete an important report when your phone lights up with a message. "I really need you right now." No one understands like you do. Though you're on deadline, guilt washes over you immediately. Emotional manipulators excel at making their problems become your problems. They position you as their emotional caretaker with phrases that seem flattering but actually create unhealthy dependency. They punish your boundaries with comments like, "I guess your job is more important than our friendship," that leave you feeling terrible. Their power lies in the constant emotional labor they demand. You find yourself managing their feelings, walking on eggshells, and second-guessing your own needs. All that emotional management diverts mental energy from your actual priorities. Similarly deceptive is our fourth type, the passive-aggressive critic. Unlike direct critics, these individuals deliver judgments through backhanded compliments and subtle undermining. They're like emotional landmines in your path. You never see the damage coming until you've already stepped on one. They say things like, "That's a brave outfit choice," or "I'm impressed you're tackling such a difficult project with your limited experience." They'll point out mistakes and then say, "I'm just teasing," when you react, or make cutting remarks prefaced with, "No offense, but..." Their impact comes from the self-doubt they create. After a passive-aggressive critic comments on your presentation style in a team meeting, you might spend hours overthinking every word instead of moving on to important tasks. The uncertainty they generate becomes mental clutter that blocks clear thinking and confident action. Our final archetype is the person with a victim mentality. Like someone permanently stuck in quicksand, they believe they have no power to change their circumstances. Their favorite phrase is, "This always happens to me." Victim mentality types refuse to take responsibility for their choices, instead blaming external factors for every problem. They expect others to rescue them while rejecting empowering suggestions, with a barrage of "yes, but" excuses. After spending an afternoon helping a coworker with this mentality brainstorm solutions they immediately dismiss, you feel as though your own optimism has been sucked away through a straw. These 5 archetypes, chronic complainers, drama magnets, emotional manipulators, passive-aggressive critics, and those with victim mentalities, each deplete your energy through different tactics. Many energy vampires combine multiple types, perhaps primarily complaining, but using emotional manipulation when that fails. It's worth noting that we all display these behaviors occasionally. Having a bad day and venting to a friend doesn't make you a chronic complainer. The difference lies in the pattern and frequency. Energy vampires deploy these behaviors consistently across many situations and relationships, creating a persistent drain on those around them. Now that you can identify these types, let's examine specific behaviors that signal you're dealing with someone who's damaging your productivity. Once you spot these red flags early, you can protect your energy before it disappears completely. Red flags and warning signs. What if the biggest threat to your success isn't your skills or habits, but the people you spend time with? I've noticed in my own life that I can have the perfect morning routine, the best productivity apps, and clear goals. But one conversation with the wrong person can throw my whole day off track. Let's talk about those warning signs that tell you someone might be an energy vampire. These are specific behaviors that signal danger for your productivity. The tricky part is telling the difference between someone who's just having a rough day and someone who consistently drains your energy. We all have bad days and need support sometimes. That's normal. Energy vampires differ through their consistent patterns. They display these behaviors persistently, regardless of circumstances. The first major red flag is persistent negativity and blame shifting. Energy vampires see problems everywhere and avoid responsibility. They respond to good news with potential problems and never own their part in difficult situations. You'll notice your chest tightening during conversations as they explain why every solution won't work and how nothing is ever their fault. I had a coworker who responded to every idea in meetings with reasons it would fail. Initially, I thought she was being thorough, but she never offered alternatives, just criticisms. Similarly, when she missed deadlines, it was always because someone else didn't provide what she needed, never her responsibility. After these interactions, I'd find myself physically exhausted, with tension in my shoulders that wasn't there before. This negativity directly impacts your productivity because it hijacks your thinking. Even after the conversation ends, your mind keeps processing their complaints rather than focusing on your work. The second warning sign is boundary violations, including excessive neediness and unreasonable time demands. Energy vampires expect constant availability and disguise their demands as flattery. You're just so good at this, or I really value your opinion. You'll notice a sinking feeling in your stomach when their name appears on your phone. I remember helping a friend with a project just this once. Soon she came to me for every project, always with reasons why her situation was special and urgent. When I started setting limits, she employed guilt tripping, making me feel responsible for her well-being with phrases like, "I was really counting on you," or "after everything I've done for you." This boundary crossing derails your productivity by fragmenting your attention and making you constantly available to their needs, instead of focusing on your priorities. The third red flag is conversation domination and emotional volatility. Energy vampires monopolize discussions and have unpredictable emotional responses that seem disproportionate to situations. During interactions, you might notice yourself physically leaning away or feeling your energy rapidly depleting. I used to have lunch with someone who would ask how I was doing, then immediately pivot to their issues before I finished answering. After these lunches, I'd return to work feeling foggy and unable to concentrate. Their emotional state also dictated our interactions. Their bad mood meant canceled plans, their anxiety required immediate reassurance, and their excitement demanded dropping everything to listen. This volatility damages productivity because you spend mental energy anticipating their reactions rather than focusing on your work. You're constantly scanning for potential triggers instead of being present with your tasks.